There. Hi, everybody. We're very excited to share the business of doTERRA with you today. So I'd like to introduce my husband, Marty Lash. Marty has been in the sales and marketing field for many years. He doesn't even like me to say how many. So he has a unique and very deep point of view about how to work a business. So I'm going to just turn the time over to Marty, and let's all listen carefully and internalize the information that he's going to share with us. So thank you very much for joining us. Here's Marty.
Thanks, Margie. Appreciate the time here today. So what I would like to do is take you through a couple things. And I think, the first question, Margie talked a little bit about it, but really, what am I doing here? Why am I taking part in this Holistic Life doTERRA meeting? And there's a couple different reasons. First, but none of them are to talk about the oils. I'm not here to talk about oils. I'm not here to talk about doTERRA. It's a great company, and I've been to some of their events. Their owners are terrific. I think they're excellent people. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not here to talk about building your teams or rank advancing. But I am here because of a conversation I had with Margie quite a while ago about building a business and understanding what it takes. And I think I'm pretty qualified for that. And I've been doing this for about 30 years, as she said, and maybe a little more. But I think it's a unique perspective because I'm a capitalist pig, as Margie would say, and I have a different outlook on things. So I just wanted to give you some perspective on that. So first, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my life philosophy. And you can take or leave the information, but basically I have the belief that you go through ups and downs, you go through waves. If you look at it from the analogy, you're on the ocean, you're on a boat. I love the ocean. And when you go up and down on waves and it's really rough, if you look at the waves and you look down, you're going to get sick. I mean, it just happens. And if you look on the horizon and look out, and see the horizon is flat and you don't feel that same effect. And really that relates a lot to sales. Sales one day is great. And by the way, in some form or another, whether we like to admit it, doTERRA and being a wellness advocate and a team leader and all those kinds of things are sales. Sorry, but it is sales. And sales are kind of funny, up and down. I mean, one day you can get somebody to enroll and they give, they buy, a kit and things are great and you have a great class. And the next day you can have a class and nobody shows up. And that's the ups and downs. But you always have to kind of look out there for the future, see what's out there. And like I said, not look up and down at the waves, but look at the long-term viabilities, the long-term goals, and keep your eye on the horizon. Now today, the big thing going on right now, and you see it everywhere, is, people are unemployed. It's hard to get a job, especially people who have outdated skills. People might be underemployed. Families need two incomes. And because a lot of working families where it's two-parent or single parent situation, they need to be able to make their own hours. But at the same time, everybody wants to get rich, and so that's what's going on in today's society. And we see that because if you go to your town and they have a franchise show or a small business show, just go down there and look, and it's mob. People are always looking for the answer. And the answer is to open a franchisee, become a franchisee of a large franchise or a network, or open a small business. We'll get rich, we'll have a great time, everything will be fine. But we talk about that waves up and down. Opening a business compares to a tsunami. It is not an easy ride. First of all, you need developmental capital. You have to maybe you have to buy into a franchise, maybe you have to buy a business, whatever the case might be. That costs more money, and you'll need operating capital because you have to bring in supplies and keep the lights on. Then, of course, you'll have personnel. You have to hire people because quite a bit, you still need some help. A lot of headaches with personnel. People don't show up. They don't perform, whatever. And your commitment, of family time is not going to be what you like. And the last thing, and the most disheartening thing, really, is the theft of company assets. Stealing is a big problem. So you can gamble and you can risk your family's future. And talk about waves again. That tsunami is just huge. But on average, and these statistics are a couple years old, but on average, about $100,000 is required just to open the door, and that includes the licensing, that includes the equipment. And I don't know about you, but I don't have $100,000 laying around to invest in a business, and so heavy debt is going to be incurred. And it's not only going to be incurred with that 100,000; it's going to be incurred as you need operating capital, because day one, people are not going to come flying in the door, and your business is not going to be in the black. It's going to probably be in the red for quite a while until you can build it up. And that takes more operating capital and more rent you have to pay and more electricity and more salaries. And by the way, all along, the average is before you'll be able to take any of that money out of the business to at least pay yourself would be 13 to 26 weeks. And that is really scary. And even more scary is by year two, 34% of the businesses fail. And by year four, 56 of small business or franchisees have failed. That is a scary number. And, Margie and I will drive around town and we'll look one day, a restaurant or some type of, retail establishment will be one name. Maybe it'll be yogurt one day. And you drive by the next week and it's a chicken place. And the reason for that is because they didn't make it as a yogurt place. So they had a choice. They could go into hock for the debt of the rent and those kinds of things, or they could try a new brand. And maybe the chicken place doesn't work. So it really becomes very stressful and very difficult to manage. I said I don't have 100,000 laying around to invest in a business, so what do? Well, I put some on my credit card. That's not a good idea. I take some out of my retirement money. I roll over some funds, or I get a second mortgage, or I get trade credit with the people that are selling me equipment, or I go to the bank and get a capital equipment loans, or I just take money out of my savings. But the bottom line is, these are all not really good. If you don't have that 100,000 laying around, these are not really good ways to grow your business by borrowing all this money and going into debt. So it gets kind of scary. And again, the leading cause of lender loss in the U.S., and this is a bank number, the banks lose, and bless the banks, they're wonderful people, but they lose more money because of small business failure than any other reason. So that just gives you an indication of what it's like. But it'd be a lot of fun. I mean, let's open a business, right? We'll be our own boss. We'll have a great time. We can get the kids involved. It's a wonderful thing. Well, first of all, a retail business is a 24/7 job. And by that, I mean, it's 24 hours, 7 days a week. I mean, some businesses maybe not, but the average business, a retail business, you're working, you're opening in the morning and you're closing late at night. Yes, you have personnel. They don't show up, they quit, you have to train them, they quit, there's theft. All those kinds of issues are just pitfalls, and it's a money pit. I mean, you have to, like I said, about the 100,000, that's just to get you in the door. But once you start your business, you have to get supplies, you have to do advertising, you have to buy equipment, you have to fulfillment costs, maybe you're going to do stuff through the mail, whatever. But there's a lot of other expenses just to keep it going. And remember, you can't take out a dime. So this is, if I'm painting a gloomy picture, I don't want to say it's gloomy, but it sure isn't easy. And it sure is enough to get you sick on the rough seas. But as I say, don't look at the waves, always look at the horizon. And so you think, that gives you a little sense of my feeling of that, but how does that really relate to doTERRA? Like, okay, a lot of those things don't apply, but a lot of them do. I mean, when you think about that horizon and the waves and looking down, well, how many of you have ever been discouraged? How many have had, scheduled a class and people don't show up? How many, people say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to become. I'll come. I'll show," and they don't show up. And then you go, you have a great class, and it's wonderful, and nobody signs up, nobody enrolls, and your team is not following through. You're dropping the ball, and business builders, I put them in the wrong place. Now I can't rank advance, or you missed your rank advance for this month. I mean, there's times in business that it's discouraging, but you have to look at the horizon. And by the way, first and foremost, you won't have to work 24/7. You won't have to, you get to work out of your home. You get to create and manage your own team, and you can have a life, and you determine your success. So yes, you won't jeopardize your financial future, and you won't give up your life. You'll be able, with doTERRA, to have a business that you can manage, you can run, you can determine your own destiny, and you can determine your level of success, because success might be different for everybody. Like I said, the main thing is you don't have that financial risk, but you do have to invest. Nothing comes easy. And I will tell you from my experience, there are no quick schemes to getting rich. That just does not happen. So if somebody thinks they're going, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but if somebody thinks they're going to start as a business builder in doTERRA or any other business, and the money is going to come walking in the door or flying in the door, that doesn't happen. Only maybe if you do something that's unethical, but we're not here to talk about that for sure. So you have to invest. But with doTERRA, what you have to invest is you have to invest your time, because you can't work 4 hours a week and expect to be successful. You have to invest your energy. You have to invest your enthusiasm. You have to learn and understand the oils and their applications in the products. You have to do teaching. You have to teach your teams. You have to teach your members. And earnings, everybody wants to think back to that 13 to 26 weeks where you couldn't take a penny out. You're building a business when you're signing on doTERRA. You're not going to start making money right away. Yeah, maybe a little here and there, but not the kind of money you want to make long term. You have to reinvest in your business, whether it's marketing, whether it's buying samples, whether it's buying materials. You have to reinvest some of your money to keep building that business. It just doesn't happen by itself. But let's talk about money. This is my favorite story in all the world, because I was, Margie, for a long time, I think many of you know her, to her, money was the root of all evil. And Margie and I went to a seminar, and there was a speaker, and it was kind of like a nice group of people, and it was one of these seminars where they're trying to motivate you to make more money, be more successful, that kind of thing. And the speaker raised his hand and said, "Is there anybody in this room that wouldn't like to have a lot of money?" And almost everybody raised their hand except a few people. And he looked at one and he said, "Why wouldn't you like to have, a lot of money? Why wouldn't you like to be comfortable, be able to do what you want, those kinds of things?" And he called her up on stage, and eventually she came up, or he came up, they both came up with the realization that in her mind, money is the root of all evil. And to get money, you have to be bad. I mean, you have to be stepping on people, and you have to be cutting people's throats, and you have to be really, really not considerate of other people. But think about some wealthy people out there that are just the opposite. Think about Bill Gates. There's a guy with a ton of money. And look at all the foundations and work he and his wife have done. Look at Warren Buffett. That guy has a ton of money. And he gives, I think I want to say, I don't think it was Bill Gates, I think it was someone, gave up a ton of their money to charity and to their foundations. And Oprah Winfrey, I think she's known for giving of herself and giving of her money. So money can be evil. People that make money can be evil. But it doesn't have to be that way, and you are the one is in charge of that. So think about that. What does it mean to you? What would you do if you were wealthy? What would make you a good or a bad person? Think about that, when you get some time, and think about what being wealthy would mean to you. What would you do with that money? Or If you had all the money you needed to be comfortable and secure in your life, plus disposable funds, what would you do with it? So in other words, if you were rich, what would you do with your money? Would you help your family and friends? Would you support your favorite charity? Would you help your religious affiliations, whatever they might be? Or maybe you just save money to enjoy yourself in your golden years. So the bottom line is that money is not all evil, and money is not the root of all evil. It's how people use it, how people spend it, and how people earn it that makes it evil or a nice thing to have. So doTERRA, the nice thing about doTERRA is that doTERRA offers you a financial path for growth and independence. And that growth and independence, of course, is based on money. So when you look at that, what does that really mean? Well, today there are more millionaires than ever in the United States. But when it comes to retirement, really, and you look at that millionaires, is $1 million really enough? So that's kind of a lot of money, right? If I had $1 million, I could retire. But when you think about it, if you retire at 65, and I know that's early, but if I had $1 million, hey, I might retire at 65. But if you retire at 65 and you have an average of income, you know, your average income will be about, that you'll need to be comfortable and need to enjoy yourself, would be about $40,000 a year. Now, some people say, oh, I could live for less, but do the math. Margie and I are pretty frugal. We did the math, and it was like $3,000 or $4,000 a month. And that's, you know, you have to take care of your insurance. And at 65, you'd have Medicare. You wouldn't have to worry about, maybe you have a mortgage, maybe you have car payments, whatever it might be. So that, just to give you a real quick number, that's more than $1 million. That happens if you $1.2 million. So is $1 million enough? Maybe not. So according to, think about that and where we are today, though, that's even scarier. In 2011, again, it's a few years old, the average savings account balance in the United States was $5,923. Now, maybe you're better off, maybe you're worse off. That's not the point. The point is that between that and their checking, the average balances were $9,000, you know, between savings and checking. And 28% in 2012 don't have any savings. And 20% don't have enough to cover 3 months living expenses, and only 43% have enough to cover 3 months of living expenses. People are living hand to mouth. And it's not because they're not working hard. It's not because they're not trying. It's not because they're not smart. It's because it's hard. It's hard in today's environment and in today's economy not to have money, not to have the kind of money that you really would need to be able to live in a comfortable way. You don't want to hiccup. This just shows you a little graphic of the additional source of income that people would need. And you can see that it's constantly growing. And this shows a little bit of what they make, what they get saved, and those kinds of things. Take a look. This gives you an idea of some of the metrics, as they would say here. If you have $250,000 saved and you make 5% of return a year, anybody here making 5% on their money a year? If you are, please call me up, because I'm going to be doing whatever you're doing. But when I say 5%, I mean money that is kind of insured and safe. That would, you know, to live off of that money, you would need $2,000 a month in supplemental income for your retirement. If you were only making $1,461, I'm sorry, if you wanted to live for 25 years, you would need $1,461 in supplemental income for 25 years. If you only have 100,000 saved and you have that and you're only earning 2%, if you need that 2,000, and when I mean supplemental income, I mean, okay, you have your retirement, you have maybe Social Security, whatever it might be, but that's not going to be enough, right? So if you have $100,000 saved and you have a 2% return on that, which is kind of not even that's high today. But if you have retirement saved, if you have your Social Security and you want to live in a comfortable lifestyle, you will have to take $2,000 a month for supplemental income, and that will last you at $2,000 a month for 4.7 years. Or if you can put in 500 a month, that will take you 25 years. So that's pulling out of your savings. If you have to pull out 2,000 a month to survive out of your $100,000, even with interest, it's only going to last you 4.7 years. And if you have to pull out 585, which is really a lot less, then your 100,000 will last you 25 years. But if you're retiring when you're 65, if you do the math, and you live for 25 years, when you run out of money, whether you have 250,000 or 100,000, you're going to run out of money. And then where are you going to be? You're not going to, because you don't have that $1 million that might last you. One of the ways to, to make money, and one of the ways to help augment that income is residual income. And what do we mean by residual income? Residual income is money that kind of keeps coming, and it's a residual. It keeps coming. So the nice thing about residual income is that it, in theory, lasts forever. And this is what, like, insurance people and financial officers, financial investors, that's what they're building, is their residual income. Because as that residual income grows, that equals money in the bank in so many dollars. Because, for example, if you had $50 a month in residual income, that would be equal to $8,000 in your bank during that period at 7% interest. Goes up and up and up, jumping right to the bottom. 240,000 if you had 1,500 residual income on a monthly basis. That would be equal to about $240,000 in the bank at 7% interest. So let me make that clear what I'm saying here. If you had $240,000 in the bank and you were earning 7%, which you're not, and I don't have, I'm not earning 7% on anything, that would be equal to $1,500. Now, you may not have that 240, you may not earn that 7%, but that's what it equates to. So that's how much money you need to get that same $1,500. But what do I mean by residual income? Well, let me give you some examples of residual versus non-residual. It's very simple. Things like royalties, renewals on policies, insurance people that are renewing policies, annuities, keep providing money, investments, self-managed business, because that somehow can keep running itself when you get to a certain point. And then network marketing, which of course we all know about. Non-residual income is a job, things you do every day. If you don't do it, you don't get paid. Transactional sales, if you're selling something, a lot of people are into sales, including myself. So if I don't sell anything, I don't make any money. I don't have any residual income from that. Services, if I was a hairdresser and I wasn't doing hair, if I was a cosmetologist and not doing hair, I wouldn't get paid. Or if you have a sole proprietor business where you don't have the ability to have other people working and creating money for you, and you were just doing it yourself, that would not be residual, because if you stop that business, it doesn't keep paying out. So the idea here is to build a residual base. And, people call it passive, people call it recurring, make money while you sleep, the key here is to work smarter and not harder. You have to think about how you can create this income that is going to keep coming even though you're not working. Now, authentic network marketing, let's talk about that for a minute. And this is the true definition. I pulled this from somewhere. But it's an affiliate connects with a customer when a desired or needed product. The affiliate, that would be us, is responsible for education and marketing to drive sales. That would be us. The affiliate converts prospects who purchase the chosen product through a variety of methods, and that would be us. And they establish and build an organization through sales activities to create residual sales and income, and that would be us. Those are the things that we need to do to be successful. We need to build a base. We need to connect with customers. We need to educate them. We need to market them. We need to talk to them. We need to drive them. We need to sell to them. And then we have to find people to help sell to other people. And that's what creates the residual income. If I'm just selling to you and you're buying from me, even though I'm doTERRA, if I'm doing a retail order and you buy something, then I make money off of that. But I don't make money next month because you didn't buy anything. But if you create, enrollments, if you create LRPs and those kinds of things, and you build your organization, that's how you gain that residual income to help you in the future, whether you're working or whether you're not. And this goes back to my good friend Lars, and I can't pronounce his last name. I guess it's Fogger or Lyron or something. But he said it very, very, very smart. He said, I would rather make 1% per person on 100 people's efforts than 100% on my own effort. That's the difference between residual income from a bunch of people feeding up the chain to you going out and doing your own sale and getting 100% of that income. The idea is to think smarter. We said that think smarter, not harder. You want to work hard, but you want to think smart. And building that organization, building that network, creating that residual income is how you get to long-term success. Here's another definition. Build-in business models, including product sourcing, order fulfillment, billing, and customers. That's one of the benefits of having a network behind you. And they have education, and the cost of entry very low. We talked about all these things, but when you have a company behind you, like doTERRA, you have all those things. You have the products, you have the sourcing, you have the fulfillment, you have the billing, you have the customer service, the education tools. We all have education tools. And the cost of entry is very low. This is just the opposite, by the way, of being a sole proprietor and opening a small business or a franchise. So this, again, points out that. And if I had to do all again, rather than build an old style type of business, I would have started building a network marketing business. It's just long term. Short term, it's not easy. Long term, it's more rewarding. Here's another definition. Network marketing is a big wave of the future, and this is not really the most recent saying, but it takes place and this is the key, it takes place of the traditional franchising, which we talked about, because of the capital requirement. It does not require a huge amount of capital, a huge amount of resources, a huge amount of money to get started. All good reasons to get involved with doTERRA. Now, you hear people talk about retention rates. And this is my craziness. I'm crazy about this because there are all kinds of numbers out there, and you've heard it many times. It's much more difficult to get a new customer than it is to retain an existing customer, to keep an existing customer. It's true in my business that I work on every day. My salespeople, I always tell them, keep your customers, because some customers are going to fall off. You have a pipeline, people fall off, people fall out the end, they don't come through. Your business is going to, if you start with, let's just say residual income, let's say you're making $1,500 a month in residual income. You're making that $1,500 every month, great, everything's good. I'm going to go to Tahiti for 2 months. I'm not going to worry about my business because, hey, it's making $1,500 a month. It's good enough for me. I'm happy. It's great. So what happens while you're gone? Well, the business starts to drop off, and you say, well, wait, what's happening to my business? Well, not everybody is continuing to order. You have people dropping off. You have enrollments dropping. Your retention of your customers is falling. And the more you neglect it, and more you neglect your customers, the faster it will fall. It's going to fall no matter what. There's no way you can stop, that happening. The attrition of your customers is just a natural thing. But you can control that, and the more you work to control that, the more you'll maintain. And by the way, the goal there, of course, is always more to put in the front of the funnel. It comes out the funnel. You've seen the pipes. Some of you have seen the pipes example. And I use that a little bit differently than doTERRA because I like to put in more in the top because it doesn't all come out the bottom, right? And some of it never comes out the bottom. So the more you can put in the top of your funnel, of your pipe, whatever, the more that will come out. And if you lose less than you have coming out of your pipe, you will grow your business. Very simple. If you put in less and have less coming out of the pipe, then you're losing. Your business will decline. It's just very simple. More going in, more coming out, less decline. That retention rate, the more you can maintain your retention rate, the less you have to do in the front end, actually. So doTERRA, fortunately, and fortunately for us, has a very, very high retention rate because people love the products, they see the benefits, and that's a good thing. So that makes our job easier. However, excuse me. However, if we don't work to keep that retention rate up, it won't be 70%. And this is kind of what we just talked about, and this has all the facts that we just talked about. And so now we get to the part that really comes down to you. So I've given you, excuse me, I was going to bring some water, but I didn't bring it. So now it comes down to you. Is what does this mean to you? What do you want to create? Because that's what it's all about. It's not me. It's not Margie. It's not your upline. It's not your team leader. It's really what you want to do, what you want to create. You know, there are all different things. You could just want to earn products for free. You could just want to supplement your income. You could want to replace your income or multiply your income because you want a new job. Or you just want to build that residual income for your, excuse me, I'm choking and Margie just got me some more. Thank you. Or you could just build that residual income long term. So what it matters to you is really what's important. The most important thing, though, is you need to set your intention. What are you trying to do? Now, I'm a little bit of a cynic or negative, however you want to put it, or realist is what I like to say. That's what my family likes to say. I'm a realist. But some people sometimes see that as negative. But set your intention. But don't just set your intention. Qualify yourself. Because everybody has great intentions. But are you capable of doing what you say you're going to yourself, what you're going to do? If you don't have enough time, if you decide you want to build a big business and you want to do all these things, whether it's doTERRA or whatever, but you don't have the time, it's going to be hard. Or if you want to do all these things and you don't have the money, and doTERRA doesn't require a lot of money, fortunately, it's going to be hard. If you don't want to invest your time and your education and your efforts, you may have the best intentions in the world, but they are not going to be realized. So really set your intentions, be sure of yourself, be confident you can achieve those intentions, get your head in the right place, set your goals. How are you going to get there? Don't set it, some people will tell you, okay, I have a vision board, my wife has a vision board, we all have our vision boards, that's great. But don't put things out there that are like, this is just my opinion. You could put some things, and my wife has a Tesla for me out there. Okay, I'm not interested in I'm not going to get to a Tesla. I'm trying to get a new car next year, and it's probably not going to be a Tesla. So take steps, get to your place. Don't jump. Don't put such goals out there that they're unachievable. So if you're in doTERRA and you want to make $5,000 a month, you can get there, but it takes steps. So make your goals achievable. Make that long-term goal big, but make some steps that you could achieve along the way. And then make your plan. How are you going to do it? What's your strategy? How are you going to get there? Who are you going to work? Use the success habits. Make lists. Develop your strategy. Develop your plan. Execute. There's the old saying, what is it? Make your plan, work your plan, make your plan. I forget how it goes, but make your plan and work your plan. Because if you do that and you've taken all these other things into account and you develop those successful habits to build your business will build. There's no question in my mind that we can do this, that you can do this. This takes the intention, It takes this goal setting, it takes a plan, and then it takes developing the right habits. So really the question is not why or what or but. The question is, why not the business of doTERRA? It can get you what you want, no matter what that intention is, no matter what that level is. It can get you what you want. It's a great product. It has a lot of value. You're not selling bad things. You're selling good things that are good for people, and you should take a lot of pride in that. And that's one of the key factors. That's why Margie is so successful, is because she loves the oils. She lives, breathes the oils every day, because it's a positive way to improve health. I don't know if that's compliant. It's a positive way to affect your health. But we've seen it in others. Other people have been successful. Everybody invests. Everybody goes through those waves. Margie and I were at a leadership conference where I forget how many times they said they started to build one way and then went another way, and some tore it up and started all over. Things will happen and you'll hit waves, but keep your eye on the horizon. Keep the eyes on your intention. And all I have to say to you is, are you in or are you out? Are you committed? You want to do this? You want to build your business so that you can do what you love and love what you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marty. Here we go. Thank you very much for sharing your ideas with us. And does anybody have any questions?
I just thought that was fantastic.
Oh, I'm so glad. Great.
Very motivating.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a good way to position what we are trying to achieve. And it really is about putting your time and your effort into this. And when we're doing something that we love, we always have to keep in mind our why. And, we all have a purpose to be here, and we all need to know what that purpose is. That is super important for us to identify our purpose and then move forward with our plan. And so anyway, I thank you, Marty, very much for sharing that with us. And I know that it is going to be helpful for all that view this. We did record this, and so I will be putting this on YouTube. So if you have team members that you would like to watch this, please share it with them. So I will be sending the link as soon as I've got it loaded up onto YouTube, so that you can share it forward and help others.
And am I still on, Margie?
You are.
So I just want to make a commitment to anybody out there. If you'd like me to attend one of your classes, or if you have some people that are interested in seriously growing the business, and I can be of any service to do either a webinar or come to one of your classes. If you want to get some people, I'm easy and I'm cheap. So so just feel free to reach out to me. My email address is marty@holisticlife.com, or you can go through Margie or your leader. We can arrange it through them. So I want to thank you for the opportunity, and I really appreciate all you guys do.
Again, Marty, thank you so much. And let's see. Okay, great. I think we'll just close for now, and please feel free to contact me or contact Marty with any questions that you have along the way. We are here to support you, and we want to help you grow your doTERRA business. It's very important to us. We feel that helping you is really what we're here for. And we have grown our business to the point that really is most of our job is helping you. So please feel free to be in contact with us at any time, and we will be more than happy to help you find the resources that you're looking for and to help you grow. So thank you again, and I'm going to stop.